Two moving targets.
Two different regulations for something that implies the same goal.
Sure.
Right? You know, I mean, this is not, you know, I've got my box of ammunition and I've got my weapon, I put it in the car and I head to the range and do my target shooting or I go out hunting. I mean, that does not apply. This is personal protection.
I understand. I think that better would be what the consensus of this council, not necessarily my personal opinion.
No, I mean, my concern is
discussion and understand that
anytime we go down a path of regulating things associated with rights, it gets
and that's
and that's why I think we need to be careful about it, that position. And that's why when I suggested this, I assumed the NRA and the Kansas Rifle Association, all of those entities supported the concealed carry law as it's written today. They supported that. So my assumption then would be that they would, in turn, support
the new rules to open carry.
Associated with open carry.
So I'll give my opinion on what I struggle with this last part. I think that there is a fine line between when you say, while the city of Gardner supports the rights, we are a governing body of a large group of citizens. And so this particular item being added, to me, you vote for your state legislators that make those types of statutes and decisions. So I think citizens, that's where they should spend their time. I mean, I think those are the people. Now, when we talk about things that directly impact city business, to me, that's different. That, in my opinion, that's what a legislative agenda should do, is from a council's perspective, it should represent what we as a governing body think will negatively impact the city business. And the part about public facilities, I mean, to me, that's a valid, you know, concern. And I'm just expressing my opinion, but when we start talking about these individual rights, because we really aren't, I mean, we're representing the governing body, but we're not necessarily representing all citizens when we talk about, now, I have my personal opinion. I mean, I don't like either of them, quite frankly, but that, to me, is something that I should be dealing and voting at the state level one way or another, not within the city of, I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's fair.
I actually agree with Christie's opinion there. On top of that, you know, Randy mentioned earlier that he was indifferent towards it, and I'm kind of indifferent towards it too, because I think that if the state legislature is proving anything, it's that
This is going to happen.
This is what we feel about it as a city is inconsequential.
All right.
And what Christie said, and you take into consideration the state legislature is going to make up their own mind about this. I'm not sure that this is something that we need to be lobbying about. And now, state legislature comes out with new law, then we have to see how that applies to residents of Gardner. But until that point, I don't know that we should be having this on the legislative agenda until we get there.
Yeah, I think for the record, I probably owe a better response to Larry and everybody else's question. I'm against it. And I should have been forthright to begin with, but I get it. I understand the premise of that last and not in harmony, but I'm just against it. I think open carry has a place, and I think carry conceal has a place.
So, well, weigh in. I've got a consensus.
Sure. You know, I think this is a constitutional issue that's going to be hashed out at the federal and state governments. And for Gardner to get involved in it, I don't think we'll accomplish much, and I don't think we're going to have much input in going forward because it's just a bigger issue than a local issue. So, if it's on here, fine. If it's not on here, I will actually, I'm not neither for nor opposed because I don't think it's going to accomplish much. I'll be honest about it being part of our legislative bid. It's going to be hashed out at a much larger scale than what we're going to do on our end.
So should we have a position regarding public facilities? I got one yes.
I think we should do everything that we need to do to be in compliance with state laws. And for us to change anything that's not going to be what state and federal laws will be, that's my stance. Meet what the state regulations are in regards to.
We do today.
Okay.
But that's our chance to change, same arguments with the.
Same
Well,
argument
that's
with the ag. I mean, that's
Yeah,
where
this
we're
is our
going back
chance
to the ag,
to
you know,
legislation.
we're not gonna.
And that's a fair comment. I mean, I guess I see it as two different arguments. One's a constitutional type space law because of the right to bear arms, and the Second Amendment, and one is actually unpackaged.
Well, it's
right.
the difference, no,
Yes.
it's not the right to bear arms, it's establishing the protocol for handling those arms in an
Sure.
open area.
Reasonable.
I mean, after the.
Yeah, but that's where I'm saying, I mean, I think that, listen, I've heard from numerous people on this when we
Oh,
talked
yeah.
about open carry last time, right? So what I've told them is if you don't like it, if you don't like the thought of going to a public park where somebody could be carrying a open weapon, then you need to address that at the state level. I mean, it doesn't impact us as a governing body. The ag stuff, I mean, that's fraud. We are losing potential property tax money as a result of that. This, I don't know what the impact. I mean, the impact is you have people in the audience who may not feel safe because of it. Well, it's the law. I mean, it's the right that people have. So,
Well,
to me, there's a big difference there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, other than
If there's,
constituents that have asked you.
Right, no,
to-
I
to-
agree with that.
To do this, I mean, that's the thing, you have constituents that say, broaden the freedoms, and then you have constituents that say,
Absolutely.
limit those. So, you know, we're looking at it, and as a representative body, where do we go? We've had constituents that say, fix the ag, right? And then we also have constituents that probably own some of that ag and say, leave it alone. So, you know, there is that balance that we go through. You know, and that's fine, and I will talk to my representatives and say, look, you know, keep one, keep both, but make them, you know, harmonize these things, and that's fine. You know, so my initial thought is, from the word many, drop it, the last part, beginning of many local governments, drop that all, and then leave it as city guardians believes local government should have the ability to address carrying concealed weapons in public facilities at the local level, modification of current concealed carry laws to allow concealed carry in public facilities would impact local government by increasing costs for security at government buildings and facilities, and then, or drop the item altogether. That's where I'm at now.
Drop the entire.
Drop the whole thing.
Paragraph.
Get rid of number 10. And let them decide and not have an opinion regarding concealed carry in public facilities. And leave that opinion up to the individuals within the city. And, you know, ourselves.
you know,
I think the first part should be left the way it is. If you want to get rid of the rest of it,
We can
that
do that already.
is an opinion that I think we should have. We should have that opinion because we're here. I mean, we're the ones that are most likely going to be impacted by people bringing in weapons. I mean, they're not mad at the guy sitting across the aisle. They're usually going to be mad at us for making, you know, a judgment call that they may or may not agree with. So, I mean, for the orderly conduct of a council meeting, especially, but also for, you know, the safety of